Brought to you by Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice. And by the 2014 Honda Odyssey, the world's first minivan with a built-in vacuum. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Rogers Center. The roof is closed here on this Friday night, 1st of 3 against the Baltimore Orioles. The Blue Jays have a 7-6 record against the Orioles, the only team in the AL East that the Jays have a winning record against this season. Buck Showalter's ball club just coming off a series at home against the Yankees. Now it's time for the starting lineups. They're brought to you by Quaker State, real durable oil. Top of the order, Nate McLeod. He scored 74 runs in that leadoff spot. Manny Machado, the great young third baseman, and then Chris Davis. The last 2 years against the Blue Jays, he has worn them out. A .374 average with 15 homers and 32 RBIs, and right behind him, another Blue Jays nemesis, Adam Jones, the center fielder. 23 home runs and 57 RBIs in just 102 games. This is a tough lineup for the Blue Jays pitching staff.
Going to have to keep the ball down against him. Todd Redmond made 3 appearances as a reliever before he was converted into a starter. This is his 11th start of the season and second versus the Orioles.
First pitch of the game is cut on and ripped into right field by Nate McLeod. He has a leadoff single on the first pitch of the ball game. The Blue Jays defensively have committed 104 errors. A little different look tonight. Anthony Gose is in left field. Colby Erasmus back in center field for the first time since August 11th. Sierra's in right. Laurie Reyes, Kawasaki, and Lynn from third to first across the infield. JP Arancibia is behind the plate.
It's been a while since Colby's been out there. He's a month. The last time he played was a series here against the Oakland A's. Took an offer and then had to leave the lineup. First time back.
Manny Machado takes a strike. Machado having a terrific season, his first full season in the majors. .291 average, 13 homers and 70 RBIs.
It's a long season, especially for a young player in his first big league season. And I would imagine that Machado is slowing down just a little bit here in September.
It's only natural. Everybody's a little bit worn down, but they are fueled by the thoughts of going to the postseason. Pitch out, nothing doing. Nate McLeod can run. He's got 30 steals, caught just 7 times.
The Orioles don't do a lot of stealing, but they have a couple of players. McLeod's one of them, Adam Jones the other one, who are threats to steal. They like to sit back and let those hitters swing away.
And they've got a great offense, of course. They hit home runs. Machado is part of that prolific offense. He's hit well against the Blue Jays. 29 for 91. That's a .319 average. Machado has 49 doubles and 3 triples. Arancibia with a snap throw to first. McLeod is back in.
That is something that the Blue Jays were working on this whole homestand. The Blue Jay catchers with Sal Fasano getting your feet set, getting him being quick over to first base, pickoffs over at first, down at second.
Here's the 2-2. Cut on and miss. Machado strikes out. 1 down. That'll bring Chris Davis to the plate, and he has absolutely loved hitting against Blue Jays pitching.
Well, I think they have to jam him. Watch where all of these pitches are. This is off of Mark Burley. It's away from him. He's got outstanding power the other way, and if you pitch the ball out there like Todd Redmond did there, he's got plenty of strength to muscle it over the bullpen and into the stands. Blue Jays have had a little bit of success against Davis, and when they do, they crowd him with a fastball.
Davis with 40 doubles and 49 home runs. They crowd him with the first pitch, and he fouls it off. How might the end of the season doldrums make that part of the strike zone even more effective against Davis?
Well, when you get tired and your hands are hurt from getting jammed or not hitting the ball squarely, you just don't want to swing at the ball. They also have the shift going on for Chris Davis. That is Brett Laurie between the second baseman and the first baseman in right field. Something that we have seen from the Blue Jays with Chris Davis all season long.
Ball and a strike. McLeod takes his lead at first. Pitch inside, another snap throw to first. One thing that snap throw to first is going to do will cut down the lead that McLeod has, and that might come into play should there be a ground ball.
The secondary lead. There is Sal Fasano, who has been working with the catchers. And the first thing, you can't be afraid of throwing the ball around a little bit if you're the catcher. You can't be afraid of making a mistake. Be aggressive. Got nothing to lose.
Driven to center field. Rasmus back. He makes the catch. McLeod had stepped on second, and he retouches it as he retreats to first. Colby Rasmus tested early in this ballgame.
The line drive, the hard hit ball right over your head. Now you can watch the swing of the bat and realize that that ball is covered, and it was by Davis. Almost a 400-foot line drive to center field. Rasmus gets back, turns his body, hauls it in.
Adam Jones, another tough out for the Blue Jays. Jones having a terrific season as well. 290, 31 homers and 102 driven in. He pops it up. Left side of the infield. Laurie calls for it. Reyes calls him off, and the inning is over. Todd Redmond gives up a base hit on the first pitch and nothing more. Scoreless after a half inning. They've got a couple big bats in their lineup tonight. Reyes, Kawasaki, and then Edwin Encarnacion. And Edwin against Jason Hamels has hit him hard. 7 for 17, 3 homers and 4 driven in. And right behind him, Adam Lynn loves hitting against the Orioles. He has a personal 16-game hit streak against Baltimore to the tune of 435. So Blue Jays are thrilled to have Encarnacion and Rasmus back in their lineup.
Jason Hamel will get ready for his 22nd start of the season, but his first since July the 28th. He's been very ineffective. He has lost 6 consecutive decisions. That ties a career high for Hamel, and one of those losses was to the Blue Jays. They roughed him up. 6 innings, 10 hits, 6 earned runs. That was back right before the All-Star break on July the 13th. Didn't have a very good breaking ball or fastball command that day.
Hamel is set, and Jose Reyes swinging a red-hot bat. Reyes with a 4-hit night last night. Reached base 5 times. 2 doubles, a single, home run, and he walked. Drives this ball toward the alley. It's hit a ton. That ball is going to get down and bounce off the wall. Reyes is headed for third. Here's the relay all the way from the outfield, and he is out. Adam Jones airmailed it, 1 hop on the money. His 10th assist, and Reyes, going for his first triple of the season, is gunned down at third.
When it left the bat, you got 2, maybe 3 on your mind for sure. The ball stays in the ballpark, but watch Adam Jones catch, and with one swoop, right to the third baseman. This Baltimore Oriole defense is the best in baseball. And it was shown right there by Adam Jones.
The Orioles have committed 43 errors on a record pace, a pace for 47 for the season. And Jones just picked up his 10th outfield assist.
That might have been the prettiest one right there. I didn't think he had a shot at all getting Jose Reyes at third base. Thought for sure he would hit the cutoff man, and that would take just a little bit more time. He aired it all the way on one hop. Right here, bare hand, wind up, and look at that. From dead center on one hop and on target to Machado.
Perfect throw. Kawasaki takes a strike. It's 2-2. Jones and the rest of his outfield mates throw to second base every day during batting practice. Wayne Kirby, the first base and outfield coach, gets them fungos, and they all throw to a base.
You and I were standing there behind the cage today, and we were watching as the Orioles got ready for batting practice. Now remember, there's 2 weeks left of the season. These guys are all-stars. Every one of them took fly balls off the bat of Wayne Kirby. Every one of them threw to second base in game situations. That's why they have so many outfield assists.
Fly ball. Markakis, the right fielder, over in the alley, makes the catch. Well, let's highlight that terrific defense of the Orioles. In the outfield, Nate McLeod, he's got a Gold Glove. So does Jones. He's got a couple of them, as does Nick Markakis. Gold Glove outfield. And on the infield, the young Manny Machado with third. J.J. Hardy steady as a rock at shortstop. Ryan Flaherty makes his 58th start at second. Davis at first. And Steve Clevenger making his first start behind the plate for the Orioles.
This is a team that is anchored by another Gold Glover behind the plate, Matt Wieters, but Buck Showalter wants to give him the day off. He's going to catch tomorrow afternoon's game. He likes Chris Tillman to be caught by Matt Wieters. Plus, this team got in late last night. They played a night game at home and got in about 6 o'clock in the morning here in Toronto.
Edwin Encarnacion, after missing 4 straight games with a sore left wrist, is back in the lineup. Edwin took BP this afternoon and deemed himself fit and ready to go. 2 outs. Off the end of the bat, Machado takes his time across the diamond. Easy inning for Jason Hamill. Gets supported by the Gold Glove center fielder Adam Jones threw out Reyes at third.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2014 Honda Odyssey, the world's first minivan with a built-in vacuum. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
There's a hint of fall in the air. It's 11 degrees outside Rogers Center. Nick Markakis takes the first pitch strike from Todd Redmond. Markakis just 0 for 2 against Redmond. We mentioned that this is the second start Todd has made against the Orioles. Both clubs with a hit in the first inning, but they couldn't cash in. Reyes was gunned down at third by Adam Jones.
Boy, Reyes looks good at the plate, doesn't he? I mean, he is hitting everything. Last night, Jose came with it about 6 inches of a cycle. Doubled his last time up. If that ball gets by the center fielder, that's 3 for Reyes.
Nick Markakis is now 29 years old. He's in his 8th year with the Orioles. He's a .293 career hitter. And there's a base hit, could be extra bases. Ghost gets over to cut it up. He's going to stop Markakis and does a great job of holding him to a long single. Anthony making his 4th start in left field this season. Of course, he is a center fielder by background, but boy, he made a nice play there.
I asked him what's a hard play in the outfield and what's an easy play, and he said, this play right here is easier for me. I can go to my glove side and catch the ball and then spin and throw. So going to the line is no problem. It's that line drive from the right-hander that's over my head. I had a lot of trouble with that. It's tough as a left fielder.
Markakis at first for J.J. Hardy.
And he played it like he's done it before. That was textbook right there by Anthony Ghost.
Left-handed left fielders are really an asset because of that ball slicing away from him, and that glove is on that side. Hardy pops it up. Brett Laurie over near the seats. It's well back into the seats and out of play. Todd Redmond, of course, anxious to make a bid for that starting rotation next year. And he's had his moments. He has pitched well and dominated at times. He's had a 10 strikeout game this season. That game against Houston back on the 28th of July. 0-2. Driven to right. Sierra back. This ball is carrying, and Sierra runs it down. He's going to throw it back toward first base, and Markakis is back easily. Fans, it's time for a BlackBerry sneak peek stat of the game, brought to you by the new BlackBerry Z10 and Q10, built to keep you moving.
What is it with the Rogers Center? Well, it's good for Todd Redmond. You can see his earned run average here in Toronto, just 235. Opponents hit a 167 on the road, not so good, almost 7, and opponent's batting average of 3. And what makes that so odd is this is a hitter's ballpark, but Redmond has been very good here, very dominant. When he uses his fastball, he has done really well here at home.
His splits are similar to those of Mark Burley's. He too has pitched well in this ballpark.
You know, another oddity I think with Todd Redmond, when you look at him, you don't think of him as a strikeout type of pitcher. But of all the starters that the Blue Jays have had this year, he has the highest strikeout per 9 ratio. Wouldn't think that.
No, he certainly doesn't make you think of strikeouts. He's more of a contact guy at first glance. Inside to Ryan Flaherty. Flaherty, second baseman tonight, was a former first-round pick of the Chicago Cubs in 2008. The Orioles picked him up through the Rule 5 draft. Ball and a strike. Another off-speed pitch and a good one. The Orioles know a little bit about Todd Redmond. He was with them all throughout spring training, and they put him on the waiver wire, and Blue Jays picked him up. So they had Redmond in the spring, and talking with Chris Tillman before the game, he threw the ball well for them.
It was late, too. March 22nd, he was claimed by the Blue Jays. That's real late in spring training.
Laurie with a long run, and he'll slide to break his momentum, but the ball was out of play.
We also had a chance to talk with Jim Presley, the hitting coach for the Baltimore Orioles. He knows a little something about Todd Redmond. He remembers him in spring training. So that kind of information can go a long way for your team.
Well, the first thing you want to do if you're Jim Presley is go talk to Matt Wieters, the catchers that worked with him in the spring. They would have had a chance to catch him at least in his side sessions. 1-2, 1 out. On the ground, Lynn to Reyes, back to first, not in time. C.B. Buckner called Flaherty safe. Redmond thought he was on the bag. Buckner signaled safe, and now John Gibbons, the manager, is going to come out and join the discussion.
Well, I think his first question is going to be, was Todd Redmond's foot on the bag? Because if his foot was on the bag, the throw beat him. First base. It wasn't the most graceful move over there at first by Redmond. This is a tough double play. The 3-6-1. First baseman makes a throw, clears out, and then the pitcher has to come over. And for me, it looked like Redmond had that top of his foot on the base.
Now, you watch his foot. It is inside the base, but he rolls over to get on top of it. And the interesting thing was that Flaherty stepped on his foot, so obviously Redmond was there first. So now there are 2 outs. Flaherty at first, Danny Valencia. Boy, has he been red hot. Valencia has his average up to 330. He's hit 8 home runs and 112 at-bats. He's got a 2-game hit streak, 5 for 7 with a double, a home run, and 3 RBIs. And he's been getting some big hits for him.
Yeah, making the most of his opportunity right now. At the bottom of the order, you say, okay, I got through all those big hitters. You can't rest with this guy. Not the way he was swinging at 330 with 8 home runs, limited action.
Since the 4th of August, he's had 9 multi-hit games in 12 games. Batting .548. Redmond's changeup has been effective early in this game.
Throws it with a split finger type of grip, meaning he spreads his index finger and his middle finger just to take a little something off of the pitch, but it dips down. It's got some good action on it.
1-2. Off the end of the bat. Went right back to it. Tell you what, you know you've got a pretty good changeup when you can throw a changeup off a changeup. He's got a very deceptive arm action. Difficult to pick up the baseball. He kind of short arms it and slings it up there, and the ball comes up in a very unusual angle. He strikes out Valencia. So for the second time tonight, Todd Redmond gives up a leadoff single and nothing more. Tickets are on sale now. As a Blue Jays season ticket holder, you will always get the best seats at the best price. You'll be invited to exclusive events and receive special club benefits. Call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. or log on to BlueJays.com and order your 2014 Blue Jays season tickets. Adam Lind trying to extend his personal hit streak against the Orioles. He's got a 16-game hit streak. 435 over that stretch. 27 hits.
Two.
0-2. Edwin Encarnacion back in the lineup. Colby Erasmus as well. A couple of the regulars back.
Gives him a little bit more balance, I guess. Some left-handed thump to team up with Adam Lind. It also gives John Gibbons the ability to go righty-hander, lefty, righty-lefty in the middle of that lineup.
One and two. Breaking ball. He checked his swing. Bill Miller down at third said no swing, and Rasmus anxious, I'm sure, to get his first hit back. He's not played a game since August 11th. Off the end of the bat, a little squibber. Hamill takes his time and throws Lind out. One down.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for Jason Hamill. He's had his success in his career versus the Blue Jays. Fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup. That's basically what you're going to get. Curveball, batters hitting just 138 against that this season. The whole key, I think, for him, when he pitches up in the strike zone, he gets hit really hard. When he's down, and he hasn't been down a whole lot this year, he's very good. He's the opening day starter, and he has got off to a good start this year, but really hasn't been throwing the ball very well. Again, 6 straight losses for Hamill.
Hamill had problems with his pitching arm. He was on the DL from the 29th of July to September 5th. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1. Hamill originally signed by the Tampa Bay Rays. He spent 3 years in Tampa Bay, 2006 through 2008. Parts of those seasons. Then he went to Colorado. He went to Colorado for a minor leaguer, and then back to Baltimore with Matt Lindstrom for Jeremy Guthrie, the right-hander who is now in Kansas City. The looper into right. Markakis has it measured and makes the catch. Laurie's retired, 2 down. Well, of course, there's lots of baseball action, and we'll have it for you all right now on Sportsnet 1. The Yankees are taking on the Boston Red Sox, and of course, that's a big rivalry. Check it out on Sportsnet 1. It's going on right now. Hiroki Kuroda up against John Lackey in that ballgame. The beauty of remote control. Go back and forth. Colby Rasmus takes one down and away. Colby having a fine season. 273, 26 doubles, and 18 home runs. The Orioles utilizing that shift against Rasmus. Check swing foul. Oh. That created some problems down in the camera well as the cameraman was trying to get out of the way, fell off his stool, dropped his camera, and hopefully everything is okay.
Take care of that equipment. That was a big camera that went down hard on that check swing.
Rasmus pops this one up. Machado has a long run, and he gets there and makes the catch on the warning track. 3 up, 3 down in the second. We've played 2 at Rogers Center. It's still scoreless. Into action once again this weekend. Guelph takes on the University of Toronto. Some great football action. Check it out tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet 360. First of 3 games against the Orioles, and the Blue Jays are going to have a lot to say about who gets into the wild card berths, who wins the AL East. That's pretty much a foregone conclusion. The Red Sox have a big lead. Steve Clevenger, the number 9 hitter. Clevenger was acquired by the Orioles in the trade along with Scott Feldman from the Cubs for Jake Arrieta. Ground ball to second. Kawasaki throws him out. Pedro Strop also went from Baltimore to Chicago in that deal. And Clevenger is a Baltimore native. First at bat in an Orioles uniform. Well, Kawasaki gets another start at second, his 15th of the season, so it'll be back to the top of the order with 1 out. Nate McLeod swung at the first pitch of the ball game and ripped it into right field for a single. So Redmond comes right back with a strike.
Smart. Fastball right down the middle. He's not going to swing at that first pitch 2 at bats in a row, so jump ahead.
Right to Kawasaki. 2 quick outs here in the 3rd. Fans, if you want your baseball questions answered by our team of experts, email asktheexperts at sportsnet.ca. Keep your eye out for the Home Hardware Ask the Experts segment later on in the game. Manny Machado struck out on a slider his first time up. Machado really solidified the Orioles defense last year when he came up from Double-A and took over at third base. Machado signed as a shortstop, and he was playing shortstop in Double-A. But Buck Showalter had an inkling that they might be able to get Machado to the big leagues, so he instructed the Orioles minor leaguers to work him out at third base, and boy, did that pay off.
And the guy who was hitting him ground balls every day is now the third base coach. Bobby Dickerson was working with Manny Machado down in the minor leagues. Said he could help us as a third baseman. Let's hit him some ground balls over there. So he worked at it. And here he is.
In his first full season at third base, he's an all-star. So Buck Showalter had a pretty good eye for what he had in Manny Machado. Orioles really had problems at third base, and he eliminated those concerns. This time he strikes out for a second time. Once again, the slider gets him. 3 strikeouts for Redmond. He brings a .322 average into the game tonight.
And getting better all the time. He struck out his first time up and then proceeded to get 3 hits. That one off a breaking ball. He got no stride on the breaking ball, keeps his hands back, gets a second hit. Now they try to throw a fastball by him with 2 strikes, and he hits it the other way. He has made strides. He has made improvements as a hitter. And when you look at him and look at the tools that he has, he's an everyday big leaguer for me.
Sierra really making an impression. He has 11 doubles, a triple, and a home run since coming up to the big leagues.
You know, here's what's got to happen, I think, the last couple of weeks of the season. You mentioned it already, Buck. 15 out of the last 16 games against teams that are fighting to get into the playoffs. Play Sierra every day in the outfield the rest of the way. Let's see what you have for next year.
Another bullet, this one right to McClough, and he was right on that pitch. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. Well, Boston has a lot of momentum. They have done a great job, and that pitching matchup, as we mentioned, Hiroki Kuroda hit hard early. John Lackey on the mound for the Red Sox, and Lackey's been a tough luck pitcher for Boston all year. He's thrown the ball well. J.P. Arancibia takes one outside. Arancibia hitting .205 for the season. He's got 20 home runs and 52 RBIs. Breaking ball strike. The Orioles starting staff has really been kind of inconsistent, and it has been a concern outside of Chris Tillman. Manny Machado at third. Across the diamond in plenty of time, and that's why Buck Showalter loves his third baseman. He plays like a 10-year veteran, took his time and made a strong throw across the diamond.
He's the best he's ever seen over there at third base. He says his inner clock is one of the best that he's ever seen. Just takes his time. And by that, I mean he never rushes. You never see Manny Machado in a hurry. If it's hitting or running the bases or fielding, he plays the game at a great pace. Takes away extra bases right there.
He's 21 years old. Turned 21 on the 6th of July. And he's an all-star already. And I tell you what, he is calm, confident. 3rd overall pick in the draft by the Orioles. And they didn't miss with that one. Anthony Ghost gets jammed, and he's behind 0-2.
If you're going to get a hit against the Orioles, you earn it. They don't give away too many base hits with that defense out there.
Even when you get a hit, the defense can cut you down, as Adam Jones did. And here's the draft 2010. Bryce Harper, Jameson Taillon, and Manny Machado. Ghost waves at that hard breaking ball, and Hamels another 3 up, 3 down inning, his first strikeout of the night. Still no score at Rogers Center. tradition of history. Brady Anderson is their all-time home run leader for a single season. He had 50 home runs in '96. Chris Davis is just one behind him this year. Frank Robinson, in his first year with the Orioles, won the Triple Crown and the MVP in '66 when he hit 49. And then big Jim Gentile, the first baseman, in '61 had 46 home runs, but nobody noticed because Roger Maris was having his big year.
That's exactly right. In that Frank Robinson year right there, the Reds traded him that year, said he was old at 30.
He was done. Frank Robinson turned around the Orioles organization and made them a perennial champion. So here is Chris Davis. A ball on the strike. Davis, with 49 home runs and 40 doubles, is a homer shy of tying Babe Ruth and Albert Bell. They're the only players to hit 40 doubles and 50 homers. That's incredible.
A lot of extra bases for a big man. You've got to do it consistently for 6 months. First of all, 50 home runs is crazy to even think about it.
And Sebia wanted it upstairs, and Redmond delivered, but Davis wouldn't chase.
But you have to do it over an entire season to have those type of numbers. Impressive. There's another guy who has hit 50.
What a tremendous milestone, 50 home run season. How about that changeup? Redmond's had a great changeup early on. He strikes out Chris Davis. That's his 4th strikeout already.
Keeping it down, you can see the grip right there. It's almost like a splitter. But he doesn't call it a splitter. He just calls it a changeup. He just splits his 2 fingers that hold the ball. He's got big hands, big strong fingers.
You know who threw the pitch like that? Tom Hinkie. It was kind of the same pitch. He had that split grip and threw it, and it was more of an off-speed dead fish kind of pitch with a little tail on it.
It didn't have the normal tumbling action that a true splitter has. There he is, and he throws it from the side. And on the way towards home plate, it's not tumbling. It's got a little bit of a side spin on it. And that's what makes it go down.
Of course, Jack Morris always talks about his pitch. His was a true forkball where he actually got it to break down, and he wanted it to finish up into the dirt with 2 strikes. Redmond's, his grip is designed to take velocity off the pitch, make it more like a split finger fastball, and it's been effective. 0-2. Cut on and miss. Jones strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts. 3 in a row for Todd Redmond. Well, Pat, you talked about Redmond and his ability to rack up those strikeouts. He's doing it tonight.
And he leads the starters. There they are right there. It's Todd Redmond at almost 10 strikeouts per 9 innings for the Blue Jays starters. Second, Jay Happ, then R.A. Dickey, Esmil Rogers, and then Mark Burley. But it's Redmond, and he does it with a fastball that tops out at 92 miles an hour. He's got great deception, and the way he delivers the ball. Hitters talk about they don't pick the ball up until it's too late. A slider and that little split change.
Nick Markakis singled down the left field line. Anthony Ghost made a nice play to keep it a single. Fouls this one back. Redmond is pounding that strike zone early on.
Working quickly, throwing strikes, throwing quality strikes. His breaking ball has been much better in the month of September. Batters just aren't hitting it.
Inside, he made him move his feet. Markakis has terrific plate coverage. We saw that in his first at bat. You've got to make him aware of the inside part of the plate to keep him off the outer half. Coming inside and hit him. So Redmond lets Markakis off the hook. He had him in the hole 1 and 2 and then hits him. So Markakis will go to first with 2 outs.
He threw the slider in off of his back foot, and then we'll try that fastball, that little comeback fastball, but he holds on to it just a little bit too long. Hits Markakis in the thigh. First base runner since the 2nd inning.
3rd time Markakis has been hit by a pitch this year. Of course, last year he had all sorts of problems. CC Sabathia hit him and broke his thumb late in the season. J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, bats with 2 outs. Hardy has been a rock for the Orioles at shortstop, playing in his 144th game at short, and he's an everyday Eddie if I've ever seen one.
10 errors on the season makes it look easy. And oh, by the way, 25 home runs for a shortstop.
Ground ball. Reyes waits on it, flips to second to force Markakis. The inning is over. Todd Redmond shutting down the Orioles through 4. Four-hit game last night against the Angels, swinging a red-hot bat.
Let's take you through these right here. There is a single. That's the home run that he hit right there. His 10th of the season. It got the Blue Jays back into the ball game, and then a double down the right field line. And this looked like a triple right here. If it gets by the center fielder, that is 3 for Reyes. A true cycle right there, but it was cut off by the center fielder and held him to a double.
Off the end of the bat, look at Machado. He extends and caught it in the webbing of his glove just inside the foul line beyond the bag at third.
Well, he's so big. He's a big guy. He's about 6'3" with long arms. You can see he's not even in your picture right here. Ball off the edge of the bat. Quickness, soft hands, and he reaches out and snags that ball from Reyes. He has already made a couple of fine plays tonight at third base.
Munenori Kawasaki flied out to right his first time up. When you look at these two ball clubs, there are a lot of similarities. They're first and second in home runs hit. They're right about the same in runs per game. The ERA is very similar, 10th and 12th overall for their pitching staff. The starters ERA for Orioles 4.58, 12th in the American League. Blue Jays are 14th. But the big difference is the defense. This is popped up. Nate McLouth, a former Gold Glover, goes over near the line, makes the catch. Edwin Encarnacion has hit well against Jason Hamill in the past.
Maybe just in time to get back to the lineup. Breaking ball from Hamill earlier in the season, and Edwin unloads on him. Hamill's going to be around the plate, and Encarnacion doesn't strike out a lot for a big man, so it's a good combination for the Blue Jays.
Edwin batting with 2 outs. He's hit 19 home runs against the Orioles since 2010. That's the most any hitter has put up against Baltimore. Hamill looks sharp in his first start since July 28th. Mentioned he was on the disabled list. There's a deep drive, hooking foul. Hamill has seen that swing before.
A high fastball. We just showed it to you. High fastball back at Camden Yards earlier this year and hit a long way by Edwin Encarnacion. Same thing. High heater. Watch where this one bounces off of the fourth deck.
Two balls and a strike. Took something off that pitch, and that's a veteran pitch by Hamill. After Encarnacion was in front of that previous pitch, he went softer. There's a little slider on the corner. Edwin's wrist is not 100%. You can see just the way he's carrying it in the batter's box. He takes it off the bat right away. He's got it wrapped to give him some support, but he is back in the lineup.
And you know what? I don't want to see any check swings from Encarnacion. That is when you can really aggravate that injury again with your wrist when you start checking your swing. So if you make a commitment to swing, go ahead and swing. If you miss it by 5 feet, big deal. Another pitch on the inner half, and he's still quick.
But you can see how quickly he releases that bat with that left hand.
And I think it's the breaking ball away from the right-hander is the one that gives him problems. Watch this swing one more time and watch how the bottom hand. That's your strong hand right there. And he lets go. Doesn't want to finish with that bat over that wrist. And basically a lot of times breaking ball down and away.
Another off-speed pitch, and that's ball 4. An 8-pitch at bat for Encarnacion. He'll go to first with the walk. That's the first walk of the ball game. So Adam Lynn will step to the plate, then tap back to the pitcher his first time up. We're in the bottom of the 4th. No score. Blue Jays have 1 hit. The Orioles have 2. There's a deep drive to right, and you can forget about this one. Adam Lynn, the 2-run homer after the walk to Encarnacion. He's extended his hit streak to 17 against the Orioles.
That streak began about a year ago against Baltimore, and it continues with one swing of the bat from Adam Lynn. Right after the walk to Edwin Encarnacion, first pitch, be ready for it. Looked like an off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup out over the plate, and Lynn knows he got it. The eyes tracked the ball and then saw it out.
Home run number 20 for Adam Lynn. And he has given the Blue Jays a 2-0 lead. Laurie hits it hard, but right to the shortstop. J.J. Hardy throws him out to end the inning. The Blue Jays have taken a 2-0 lead as we head to the 5th. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Todd Redmond with a 2-0 lead gets a first pitch pop-up off the bat of Ryan Flaherty. Kawasaki at second base makes the catch. Flaherty's retired. Well, that's exactly what Todd Redmond needs to do. He's at the bottom third of the lineup. Work quickly through this part of the order and get your hitters back up at the plate against Jason Hamill.
Yeah, here it is. Here's the fastball. Let's see if you can get on top of it and hit it. So far tonight, they haven't been able to.
And Redmond's doing a good job of sticking to the game plan. Danny Valencia struck out his first time up. Valencia and J.P. Arancibia were teammates down in Miami as teenagers. They played on a travel team together. They grew up in the same area. Of course, that's a hotbed for baseball, and Valencia said, yeah, we played together. Valencia grew up in Boca Raton. Played at the University of Miami, was drafted by the Twins in 2006. Todd Redmond falls behind 2-1. That breaking ball has been a problem for Valencia tonight.
He's been hot. We mentioned the numbers that he has put up over the last month or so, but a lot of those at-bats have come against left-handed pitching. But he has been so hot. Buck Showalter wants to keep him in against the right-handers, and you can see he's having trouble with that slider down and away.
Oh, Redmond got away with one. That back up the slider caught the inside corner. Another strikeout for Redmond. That's 6 tonight.
Save during the plumbing, heating, and electrical expert sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Todd Redmond retires the first 2 quickly. Steve Clevenger, the catcher, in his first start with the Orioles. Clevenger is 27 years old. Drives this ball to left field. Anthony Gose is back. His speed allows him to run it down. He was shallow, and Clevenger gave it a ride, and that good defense in left ends the inning quickly. Todd Redmond gets some help from Anthony Gose in left. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. The Jays have a 2-0 lead. OPS. Mike Trout, we just saw him for 3 days. We know what a terrific player is. Adam Jones is in now with the Orioles for the next 3. Colby Erasmus playing for the first time since August 11th. These 3 are top 3 in OPS.
In all, OPS is on base plus slugging percentage. And the thing about those 3 is they're center fielders that play a defensive premium position, but they hit home runs and they're power hitters. Usually you see center fielders in the American League like a Jacoby Ellsbury or a Jackson in Detroit, Coco Crisp. Very good defensive center fielders, but their games are a little bit different. Built more on speed and getting on base. Those three center fielders, they have power.
Like the old-fashioned center fielders like Willie Mays and Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle.
That's three pretty good ones.
They had the attributes that you're talking about. Colby Rasmus in his third season with the Blue Jays, second full season. Came to the Blue Jays July 27, 2011. Fouls it back. Rasmus was headed for career highs in home runs and RBIs before he injured his oblique and was knocked out for over a month. His career high in home runs 23. He did that twice. Last year he set a career high with 75 RBIs.
Going to have to get hot, stay healthy the last couple of weeks if he's going to top that. There is the shift. That means they're going to pound him inside.
And they did. Hammers gets that ball right in on his fist and he fights it off. Well, that's one thing that gets overlooked oftentimes when a manager and the defensive coach are going to align the defense. Pitchers have to make pitches. If you don't hit your spots, you're going to cross up the defense. Right now, they're playing Rasmus to pull. And he pulls it high and deep to right. Marquette is at the wall, jumps, it's gone. Home run number 19 for Colby Rasmus. Welcome back.
You know, we were talking in the opening about the Blue Jays in the last month or so averaging just over 3.5 runs a game. Tough to win the games when you don't score that many. Rasmus has been out of the lineup. Jose Bautista's been out of the lineup. And Edwin, well, they're back. And it shows. Encarnacion scored last inning after walking and then a home run by Lennon. Now Colby does the same thing, a home run to right field.
Moises Sierra scalded him on the left his first time up, but it was right at the left fielder. Rasmus, the second of 2 home runs the Jays have hit tonight. For Colby, that's number 19. That's been a problem for the Orioles pitching staff all season long. They've now surrendered 188 home runs. That's the most in the American League.
Hamill, 22, all by himself.
Breaking ball hit to the shortstop. Hardy retires Sierra, 1 down. For comparison's sake, the Orioles have given up 188 home runs. The Blue Jays have given up 179. That's the third most. The Tigers have given up the fewest, 119 home runs. Kansas City, the second fewest with 136. They've got a big ballpark and a good pitching staff.
Yeah, that's a great combination for the Tigers. A big ballpark, power pitchers, same thing with the Kansas City Royals. And the flip side of that, the Blue Jays play in this ballpark and the Orioles play in Camden Yards, the 2 easiest places to hit a home run in.
Yeah, both ballparks are bandboxes, ball flies, so pitchers are challenged anytime they toe the rubber in those 2 ballparks. J. Pierre Nsibia tries to check his swing. C.B. Buckner down at first said he did. Ball and a strike. The Orioles haven't played well on the road. They're a game under 500 at 35-36. They haven't won a road series since April when they beat the Red Sox 2 of 3 at Fenway. And of course, that's a challenge. They haven't played well against the East either. 28-32 against the American League East, and that's why they find themselves up against it here at the end of the season.
You know, I think that's the first thing you do when you put a team together in baseball. How do I beat the other teams in my division? It's the first thing you have to do. Whatever division it is, if it's the National League Central or if it's the American League East, those are the guys you're playing the most against. How do I beat them?
You got to know your opponents, that's for sure. 2-2, 1 out. Strike 3 called. Clevenger tags Aaron Seaby after dropping the ball. We talk about the AL East, and the blood was boiling Monday at Camden Yards. Buck Showalter and Joe Girardi got into a argument across the diamond, and then Showalter took it a little bit closer behind home plate. And the basis for this argument was Joe Girardi was hollering at the third base coach, Bobby Dickerson, and Buck Showalter says, "Don't do that. That's not right, Joe." And both managers were hot. Buck Showalter standing up for his coaches. And Joe Girardi had walked all the way down to the third base end of the dugout and was hollering at the third base coach. Anthony goes, pops it up a mile high. Clevenger makes the catch. The inning is over. So we'll go to the top of the 6th. And here comes a Home Hardware cleanup crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Comfort Zone, our guest from BC Children's Hospital Foundation, courtesy of TD. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, our folks from Crossing All Bridges Learning Center. Enjoy the game and welcome to the Rogers Center. Colby Erasmus with a home run has extended the Blue Jays lead to 3-0. And Todd Redmond is shutting out the Orioles on 2 hits. Redmond gave up a leadoff single to start the ballgame to Nate McLouth, and then a leadoff single in the second, and that's been it.
Last time he started was 10 days ago. He was actually away from the ball club for a couple of days. For some personal business, there was a death in the family. Red got back yesterday, got the chance to start today, and he's making the most of it.
Pretty good pitch. He didn't get the call. That has been a bread and butter pitch for him all night long, that changeup.
Third time through now. Let's see if the Orioles start laying off of that pitch. McLouth did. From pitch tracks, it looks like it was a strike.
Redmond checking the count on the scoreboard. It's 3-1. Nate McLouth has singled and lined out. Takes a strike. Full count. Come on and missed. Another strikeout for Todd Redmond. That running fastball gets Nate McLouth. That's 7 Ks for Redmond.
Well, he's had a couple of pitches working for him tonight. The split change up, his fastball. Now this one, he turns this one over a little bit. It moves away from McLouth. They just can't catch up to it. Swings right over the top of that sinking fastball. 7 strikeouts already.
Manny Machado has struck out twice to add to that total. Takes a fastball. Ball on the strike. The Blue Jays starters have thrown the second fewest innings in the American League. Coming into this game, 811 innings. Machado drives it to center. Rasmus got a good break, runs it down. 2 down. But at the start of this game, the Blue Jays starters have thrown 113 fewer innings than the Detroit Tigers starters. And that's a big problem. You're calling upon your bullpen too often. When you think about it, I mean, that's 11 complete ball games without using a starting pitcher.
Injuries, ineffectiveness. I think the reasons for the Blue Jays this season, ineffectiveness, Josh Johnson.
Chris Davis hits it high to left field. Anthony Gose has room, makes the catch. Quick inning for Todd Redmond. Takes him 10 pitches to retire the side in the order in the 6th. September 20th through the 24th at Rogers Center. Blue Jays Hall of Famer Roberto Alomar will host a showcase baseball tournament at Rogers Center, highlighting some of Canada's best amateur baseball players with college eligibility. Tournament passes are now available at bluejays.com/T12. New pitcher for the Orioles is 22-year-old Kevin Gausman, making his 14th appearance of the season.
And his first big league start was right here versus the Blue Jays back in May 23rd. 5 innings. He was charged with 4 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, showed a good fastball. Just his first year in the big leagues. In fact, he was just drafted by the Orioles. Very young, very raw, but very talented. Right now, those stats inflated with some bad outings.
He was the Orioles' first-round pick, 4th pick overall in 2012, so they have really pushed him through the system, and here he is in the big leagues in September.
They've taken him out of the starting rotation. He made 5 starts, and he got off to a great start, but I think then he got around what he had with all the technology that they have around baseball right now and scouting reports. I think the Orioles are doing the right thing by letting him pitch out of the bullpen right now, where you can control his innings and you control who he faces.
Gausman was drafted out of Louisiana State. The Orioles have had success drafting first-round picks out of LSU. Mike Fontenot and Ben McDonald, 2 former first-round picks, and they both had long careers in the big leagues. Jose Reyes, the leadoff man, has doubled and lined out to the third baseman. He had a soft liner back in the 4th inning that Machado made a play on. Blue Jays lead it 3-0. And Gosman's got a good arm. Listed at 6'3", good downhill plane and late movement on that fastball.
Yeah, he still has some room, I think, to grow into that body a little bit more. Long and lean. The ball comes out of his hand nicely.
Chris Davis will step on the bag to retire Reyes. 1 down.
Save during the plumbing, heating, and electrical expert sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
See in town right next door to Rogers Center. The roof is closed. The temperature outside at the start of this game, a chilly 11 degrees. A little nip in the air tonight as the Blue Jays play with the roof closed. Feels like fall around Toronto. Munenori Kawasaki is 0 for 2. Mooney's done a terrific job for the Blue Jays this season. Filling in for the injured Jose Reyes.
His at bat last night in the 9th inning almost got the Blue Jays over the hump. 10 pitch at bat to extend the inning.
Against Ernesto Frieri, the closer for the Angels, and Munenori would walk, and then Frieri would strike out Laurie to end the game. Foul down the left side.
He was very appreciative when I went up to him today to tell him that that was a heck of a battle he put on with Ernesto Frieri. That's what he'll do. He'll give you good at-bats.
Right back to the mound. Gosman has it and throws Kawasaki out, 2 down. The starter for the Orioles was Jason Hamill, and he's making his first start since July 28th, so they didn't extend him. There were just 62 pitches over his 5 innings. And once again, the problem for the Orioles, the long ball. Adam Lind hit a 2-run home run in the 4th. Colby Erasmus had a solo homer in the 5th, and that's where we stand now. 3-0 Blue Jays.
Well, he gave up 3 hits in 5 innings. Unfortunately for Jason Hamill, 2 of them left the ballpark. 1 of them right after a walk. Counted for a couple of runs.
Edwin Encarnacion walked in, and Lynn homered. Back in the 4th. Just off the plate. Ball on the strike. Tell you one thing the Orioles do, they're not afraid to push the kids and get him into the big leagues. Last year they brought up Machado to play third base in the pennant stretch, and he got him into the postseason. This year they have called upon Kevin Gosman. He made start early, as you mentioned, and now he's back in the bullpen.
How about Dylan Bundy, who came to the big leagues at the age of what, 19?
Yeah. They've had a history of doing that. You go back into the 60s. Wally Bunker pitched on that team in 66 as a 19-year-old. Jim Palmer was very young when he was called up. He too was a teenager pitching in the big leagues. Full count, 2 outs. We are in the bottom of the 6th. The Blue Jays lead the Orioles 3-0. Driven down the right side. Long run for Markakis, and that'll land on the warning track and bounce into the seats.
Just a little bit tardy on that fastball from Gausman, but it's a full swing from Encarnacion. He didn't let go of that anywhere.
Another 3-2 pitch. Cut on and missed. Encarnacion strikes out. Gausman comes in and retires the side in order. We'll go to the 7th. The Blue Jays have a 3-0 lead. live audio. Follow games pitch by pitch and enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and BlackBerry Z10. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. At Bat 13 is the official app of Major League Baseball. Defensive change for the Blue Jays. Ryan Goins takes over defensively at second base for Munenori Kawasaki. Seventh inning. Adam Jones drives it down the right side. This is trouble, and it's up against the wall. Jones is headed for second, and Sierra will get it back in, so it's the leadoff double for Adam Jones.
This is a Oriole team offensively that just doesn't go away. They come up with clutch hit after clutch hit. This is going to start it here in the seventh inning. Jones goes the other way. 33 doubles now for Adam Jones to go along with those 31 home runs.
First Oriole to reach second base tonight. A leadoff double here in the seventh. Pete Walker out to talk to Redmond and Aaron Sevilla. Blue Jays bullpen is stirring down in left field.
Dustin McGowan got up right when Todd Redmond went out to start the seventh inning. It's almost like John Gibbons has a feeling that Redmond might be losing it, so he's got his hard-throwing right-hander up.
Well, Redmond has certainly been effective here tonight. He's shut out the Orioles on just 3 hits. He has 7 strikeouts, and he's been economical, throwing just 73 pitches as he works here in the seventh. Nick Markakis takes a strike. Markakis has singled, and he was hit by a pitch. Markakis is another one of the Orioles' first-round picks. He was drafted out of junior college in Georgia in 2003. Hits it hard. Goins right into the ball game, throws Markakis out. Jones goes to third on the play.
Save during the plumbing, heating, and electrical expert sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
So Redmond sees John Gibbons coming toward the mound, and he'll hand the baseball over. Todd Redmond, another good start. Redmond goes into the seventh. He goes 6 1/3 and is shutting out the Orioles on just 3 hits. J.J. Hardy is the batter, and Dustin McGowan come in. Job well done by Todd Redmond. Tigers 2 out of 3 in Kansas City, and now they're in Detroit. Justin Verlander pitching a good game against KC. Bruce Chen is out of the game. He was the starter. New pitcher for the Blue Jays is Dustin McGowan.
Well, part of the job of a manager and the pitching coach is to get a feel when the starter is starting to lose it, and I think that's what happened right here. They felt he was losing it, so they're going to bring in McGowan. He's a strikeout pitcher. Good fastball with sink and a good slider. So he's going to give the Orioles a different look than what they saw from Todd Redmond.
A little more giddy up on the fastball for sure from Dustin McGowan. J.J. Hardy drills it to left. Anthony goes back off the wall. Jones jogs in to score. Hardy goes into second with the slide, and the Orioles are on the board. J.J. Hardy, his 25th double of the season, has put Baltimore on the board. It's a 3-1 game.
Among Major League shortstops since the All-Star break, only Hanley Ramirez has hit for a better on-base plus slugging average than J.J. Hardy. Likes the ball out there, and he drives through that one off the wall for extra bases.
J.J. Hardy has really been a nice addition to this Orioles lineup. Ryan Flaherty is 0 for 2. The Orioles, with just their 4th hit, they have now out-hit the Blue Jays 4-3. Pitchers have been tough tonight. Two and 0. Flaherty has faced McGowan only once, and that one time he had a home run. He's 1 for 1 with a homer.
Get the head out on that one. McGowan in his career has faced these Orioles 11 times. Hasn't had a lot of success against them. An ERA of about 7.
2-1. Now 3-1. Danny Valencia is on deck. Valencia doesn't care who comes into the game. He's just glad Todd Redmond is out.
Didn't have a whole lot of fun with Redmond, did he?
Good changeup from McGowan. Valencia struck out twice against Redmond. He's happy to see somebody else.
That changeup from McGowan, 87 miles an hour. That's a hard changeup, but when you put it up against his fastball, it's about 96 or 97. Pretty good pitch for him.
3-2. Came right back with it. Took a little more off at 85. Flaherty's a good fastball hitter. Saw how he pulled that fastball into the seats down the right side.
Limited playing time for Flaherty. Just over 200 at bats, and he's got some power. 8 home runs.
Ball 4 inside. 2 aboard. Aaron Sebia will go out to the mound to have a chat with Dustin McGowan. Todd Redmond, the starter, was good again tonight. He goes 6 1/3. He allowed just 3 hits. He gave up the 1 run. Didn't walk a batter. Struck out 7. Very efficient tonight through just 75 pitches.
Used 3 very good pitches tonight. His fastball with good movement, his changeup, and a slider to pick up those 7 strikeouts. I like that he didn't walk anybody. He came right after him. Threw a lot of strikes.
Danny Valencia waves at that pitch down and away. Redmond will come at you. He's not going to walk you because he's intimidated, that's for sure. 0-1. Breaking ball in the dirt.
Once he had a chance against his former organization to show him that they made a mistake by letting him go.
Players always think about that opportunity. Just the competitive nature of athletes.
Show him that you made a mistake, plus give him a tough loss in September.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Popped him up on the infield. Infield fly in order if fair. It's a foul ball. Lind retires Valencia. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. 20,024 here in attendance on a Friday night at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead. Steve Clevenger, the catcher. Clevenger grew up in Baltimore. He signed with the Cubs and came to the Orioles in a trade early in July. A 4-player trade.
His reputation is he's a pretty good hitter. And they were saying around the batting cage today, got to see what you have in this young player. Stick him in there, see if he can help this ball club.
He played junior college baseball at Chipola Junior College in Florida. Of course, you've heard that name before, Jose Bautista. Also played junior college baseball at Chipola. There is a host of Canadians that have played there. Adam Loewen, Russell Martin, Renee Sony. And how about former Blue Jay Hoskin Powell? Played at Chipola. Really? Patrick Corbin, young left-hander for the Diamondbacks. Good baseball, junior college. 2 balls and a strike. Line to right field. Sierra on the run. He'll play it on a hop. It's over his head, and this is going to score 2. Hardy is in, and right behind him, Ryan Flaherty. And just like that, we're tied at 3-3. Again, inexperience in right. Sierra came after it, then recognized he wasn't going to make the catch. Got too close to the baseball, and it bounced over his head.
I think he could have caught that ball. I think he's an athlete. And I think if he recognizes the ball off the bat, you can see he doesn't take a good route or a good jump on that ball. And then once he realizes he's not going to catch it, gets too close, the ball bounces over his head, and we're all tied. He's a fine athlete, but we have seen him get poor jumps and take poor routes to the ball in the short time that he has been up here. So no decision for Todd Redmond.
Unfortunate result for Todd Redmond. The ball misplayed in the outfield. Even if you're going to concede 1, you play it on a hop with 2 outs and you keep the second run from scoring. So it's a 3-3 game. Clevenger picks up his first 2 RBIs of the season. That gives him 18 for his big league career. This is his 80th major league game. Top of the order.
When the ball is hit, you got to know right away. Let's see where the ball is. It's going to hang up there. Look at if he comes in, I think he makes that catch. It's only a couple of feet in front of him. But he backed up on it at the end there and tried to play it on a hop, and it bounced over his head. We see visiting teams all the time come in here, if they're not familiar with this turf, make mistakes like that. It's a difficult ballpark to play in if you're not used to it.
Buck Showalter was talking about that and how difficult it is in the American League East with the different ballparks. You got 2 turf fields. You got 2 unusual outfield dimensions in Yankee Stadium and Fenway Park. And Baltimore is a tough ballpark because it's so small. So the ballparks in the East are challenging. Sergio Santos heating up in a hurry. 3-0 count to Nate McLeod. Manny Machado is on deck. Ball 4. So McGowan comes in, gives up a double, a walk, gets a pop-up, and then a 2-run double on a misplayed ball in the outfield, and John Gibbons has just made the call to the bullpen. Dustin McGowan with a couple of walks this inning. Of course, the play in right field didn't help him out. So Manny Machado will be the batter. Sergio Santos has been red hot lately. He'll face Machado when we come back. September, the New York Yankees will be in Rogers Center for the last time. It all starts Tuesday, September 17th. 3 night games, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to wrap up this homestand. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com and stop by most Rogers Plus locations. The final time to get to see the great Mariano Rivera pitch here at Rogers Center. Dustin McGowan, just one batter, he gave up a couple of doubles and walks here. Now Sergio Santos, who has been outstanding in these situations. 2 on, 2 outs. Santos has done a great job of stranding inherited base runners. He's stranded 16 of 17. And he's got 2 more right here.
Yeah, 2 big ones out there. Sergio pitched in last night's game. Had a 1-2-3 inning in the 9th inning against the Angels. And now it's a big spot right here for him. The pitch that has been good for him was that one right there, a slider.
Manny Machado has gone 0 for 3 so far. Santos can bury that slider down and away, and he'll probably get Machado to chase.
Yeah, it was a good pitch for Todd Redmond against Machado. Got him twice swinging. Struck him out twice with that slider down and away.
There it is. Machado has struck out 3 times, all on the same pitch. Slider down and away. Santos continues to strand base runners. It's a 3-3 game. 2014 Honda Odyssey, the world's first minivan with a built-in vacuum. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
No score in the fourth inning, 2 outs, a walk, and this. Adam Lynn unloads against Jason Hamill. It's his 20th home run of the season, the 4th time in his career that he has hit 20 home runs, got the Blue Jays off. Quickly in the 4th inning with that 2-run home run, Adam Lynn's drive of the game.
So we move to the bottom of the 7th. Lynn will start things off. He has extended his personal hit streak to 17 straight games against the Orioles. He has 28 hits in those 17 games. And he will face the left-hander, T.J. McFarland, coming out of the bullpen.
33rd time this season that the big left-handers come out of the bullpen for Buck Showalter's team. The game is now tied, so Showalter wants the matchups. You got a couple of lefties scheduled this inning, so bring in the lefty right here and play it 1 inning at a time.
Well, this time of the year, all these contending ball clubs have a big bullpen. They can make a lot of switches and hold matchup for sure.
Well, they have 3 lefties in their pen now.
Lynn grounds it to second. Flaherty was deep and goes to first. 1 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Against the former Oriole, Jake Arrieta. Arrieta gave up those 3 consecutive home runs, and Charlie Morton is now out of the game, the starter for Pittsburgh, as they have gone to their bullpen. Justin Wilson is into the ball game, and the Pirates have tied it up. Those 3 teams in the National League Central really banging heads, and going to be an interesting race down the stretch. Start of play tonight. The Pirates and the Cardinals were deadlocked. J.J. Hardy can't make a play. Laurie is on with a single, a 1-out single here in the 7th.
Save during the plumbing, heating, and electrical expert sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
So Buck Showalter brought the left-hander in because he had 2 left-handed hitters. They were sandwiched around Brett Laurie. Now Kobe Rasmus, who homered his last time up in the 5th. Rasmus for the season has hit .252 against lefty pitching. Rasmus has a home run against T.J. McFarland. He's 1 for 3. Rasmus has hit 5 of his 19 home runs against Southpaws. Laurie with a big lead at first. Brett has 7 steals. He's been caught 4 times. Rasmus has an interesting approach against left-handers. He's changed it somewhat this year, and it's worked well for him. He looks for that breaking ball away and takes those inside pitches until he gets 2 strikes.
Lefties must be just feeding a whole host of breaking balls away. So if you've got a plan, that's your plan. Use it.
He hooks this ball foul. It was an inside pitch.
I still think he is best, though, when he goes up there looking for the ball on the inner half and then letting it go. And he did that against Jason Hamill. His last time up, that was in the 5th inning. This made it 3-0 for the Blue Jays. Home run number 19 for Colby. Welcome back to the lineup.
Rasmus and Encarnacion both back in the lineup. Colby hasn't played since August 11th. Encarnacion had missed 4 straight games before playing tonight. a strike on the inside.
And now with a couple of strikes, the infielder's really going to shift around. That is J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, on the first base side of second.
Saw Jones move over to the left field side of center. The inside, it's a full count.
You know what's interesting about that? I was watching J.J. Hardy, and he told his second baseman, Flaherty, if there's a ground ball to you, I'm covering. I'm covering on the double play. So give it to me. That will be interesting to hit a moving target.
3-2. Laurie not running. It's fouled off by Erasmus. It's really kind of interesting that the infield playing dramatically to pull. There's Sierra on deck, and the outfield is kind of straight away. Jones has moved back to the right field side of second.
And look at J.J. Hardy. Now they've gone back. Very interesting.
Another pitch inside. They threw him the same pitch, and Hardy changed positions. Buck Showalter has really utilized that exaggerated defense, and who can argue with him? They're on pace to set a major league record for fewest errors committed in a season. They've committed 43 errors.
Bobby Dickerson is the infield instructor for the Baltimore Orioles. He's got his little book out there. He's looking at that. That tells him the scouting reports of all the hitters, how they're going to pitch them, and what they have done, the hitters. So he can move his defense accordingly.
Rasmus, he hit that ball right over his right shoulder. He got the head out. I mean, he literally hooked it over the Orioles dugout into the upper deck.
Tough to do that.
Another 3-2 pitch. Another foul. Quite a battle between T.J. McFarland. You can see he's keeping everything inside. That ninth pitch of the at-bat was on the inside corner. You just wonder if he would flip a breaking ball to the outer part of the plate now, whether or not he could get Rasmus to chase.
Does he have enough command to put it where he wants to?
He missed. He was trying to go away, and that ball missed all the way to the inside corner. Clevenger had slid to the outside. He wanted it away. But McFarland missed his spot. Number 10 was on the inside corner.
I think his fastball is going inside from pitch track. Look at 10 pitches, all middle in.
He got that one away, and Rasmus drills it into center. Laurie quickly first to third. He'll stop there. And Colby Erasmus got one pitch out over the plate and drilled it through the infield into center.
You know, and if they had stayed in that pull mode where they were earlier in the count, this might be a double play. This ball looks like it might have gone right where J.J. Hardy was standing, but they moved around. Good for the Blue Jays as Lordy makes it first to third on that single to center field.
So T.J. McFarland gives up the base hit to Rasmus. Hard throwing Tommy Hunter is into the ball game. When we come back, first and third, one out. Moses Sierra, the batter. Tommy Hunter, who has really developed into a very effective relief pitcher.
Right-handed batter's hitting 119 against Hunter. He's got a very good fastball, natural cutting action to it, and a little bit of a breaking ball. Talking about inherited runners, he's inherited 23 and only 4 have scored all season long. He's done this for Buck Showalter's team all year long. Former starter, moved him into the bullpen. It's worked out nicely. 61 games he's been in this year.
Tommy Hunter came to the Orioles in a trade along with Chris Davis. Maybe one of the best trades the Orioles have ever made. They got Chris Davis and Tommy Hunter for Koji Uehara from the Texas Rangers. Moises Sierra misplayed a ball in the outfield. Would love to redeem himself here. First and third, 1 out. Pickoff play. Boy, I tell you what, executed to perfection. Tommy Hunter stepped off the rubber, faked to third, and spun around, faked to first and spun around and threw a strike to third. And that was a design play.
Whole key to that right there was him stepping off. You can't do that. You can't fake over to first base and then throw back to third unless you step off. Just trying to see if they were catching the Blue Jays napping. That was a heck of a play.
All designed. Buck Showalter was out to change pitches, and there's the fake to first, back to third. Machado was waiting at the bag, but Laurie was heads up and got back.
And what's your first reaction as the runner at third base when you see that?
Take a step toward home. Tommy Hunter has a big arm. He's picked up about 4 miles an hour since he's become a reliever, knowing that his outings are going to be short spurts.
Reach back, give me everything you have for a short amount of time. He generates a lot of that from his lower half. He's got a big lower half, big legs, and he really drives towards home plate.
Tommy Hunter is 6'3", weighs 260. Former starter. Sierra tried to check his swing and went around. He strikes out. Hard breaking ball. 2 down.
That's why they brought him in right there. They needed a strikeout. They wanted a right-on-right matchup right here, and he just gets Sierra. Fingers in the cookie jar, getting out there on that breaking ball.
J.P. Arancibia will step in with runners at the corners, now 2 down. Arancibia just 2 for 16 against Tommy Hunter. Well, you talk about an effective arm coming out of the pen with runners on base. Tommy Hunter, he fits the bill.
This is what you need, I think, in the American League East for these situations right here. Runners on late in the game. A guy who can come in and just blow 99 miles an hour.
Now the question is, do you throw him a slider or stick with the fastball?
Got to be a heater. Got to be up.
3-pitch strikeout, and Tommy Hunter slams the door dramatically. First and third, the Blue Jays can't cash in. Football Daily. It airs Monday through Friday on Sportsnet 1. You'll see guys like Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and Brian Urlacher. All the latest in news and analysis. Fox Football Daily, 6 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet 1. Keep you up to speed on what's happening around the NFL. Steve Delabar into the ball game. Sergio Santos ended the 7th with a big strikeout of Manny Machado. Now Delabar to start the 8th.
Steve last pitched a couple of days ago and actually was charged with a loss to the Angels. Pitched the 8th inning. A couple of walks and a double. Game winner scored on his counts. 5-3 record, 282 earned run average, and he's got a tough job right here. He's got to go right down the middle of the Baltimore Oriole lineup.
3, 4, and 5. Chris Davis, the first baseman, so far 0 for 3 tonight. There's a first pitch strike. Davis has flied out twice. He's also struck out.
There's the shift that we have seen the Blue Jays play. Adam Lind right on the line, the first baseman. Tie score late in the game, no doubles. So Lind is going to just hug that line right there. Nothing between him or nothing by him. Fair to his left.
Ball on the strike. Good splitter down and away. Delabar jumps ahead 1-2. Chris Davis has hit 6 home runs against the Blue Jays this season. Only Adam Jones has hit more. He has 7. This is the 14th game Davis has played against the Jays. Did he go? No, said Bill Miller. That was close.
But I like where he threw that one. He wanted up and in. Very tough for even a great hitter like Chris Davis to get on top of that one and do anything with it. Watch where it is. Up and in. And he holds up.
Here's the 2-2. Going away, and Davis hits it high and deep and gone. Once again, the Blue Jays pitch Chris Davis away, and he makes them pay. His 50th home run to join Albert Bell and Babe Ruth with 40 doubles and 50 home runs.
Milestone home run by Chris Davis. And you said it earlier in the count that he has really worn out the Blue Jays. We showed it earlier that everything is away. He can just muscle this ball. Splitter down and away. And with the great bat speed, great strength, he can just muscle that ball out of the ballpark. The pitch before, fastball up and in, he didn't have any chance to do anything with that. But you go down and away and he can get you.
Adam Jones pulls it foul. Jose Bautista hit his 50th home run here against Felix Hernandez. Brady Anderson hit his 50th home run here in '96 against Pat Henkin. And now Chris Davis has hit his 50th home run against Steve Delabar to give the Orioles a 4-3 lead. Off the end of the bat, off the glove of Delabar. Jones will beat it out at first. Jones hit a slider off the end of the bat, and it's ruled a base hit off the glove of Steve Delabar.
Comebacker, slider, and the ball ricochets into no man land. No chance for anybody to get that one. As Jones gets another hit.
Adam Jones and Chris Davis doing it again to the Blue Jays. So Jones is aboard, and you better keep your eye on him. He can run as well. He's got 13 steals. Nick Markakis, as you mentioned it, the meat of the order, 3, 4, and 5 for the Orioles in the 8th.
Boy, they don't stop. They just keep coming after you and coming after you. Last inning, after a Jones double and a ground out, Blue Jays went to their bullpen, and the Orioles bats are come alive.
Nick Markakis takes a strike. It's 1-1. Markakis has gone 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch. He was the final out recorded by Todd Redmond in the 7th. Grounded out to second. Jones looks like he wants to run now.
It's perfect time to do it, I think, with a left-handed batter up there. It really distracts a catcher. Can't see him going. Got to deal with the swing from a left-handed batter.
Not running. Off the outside edge. Two and one. Orioles have taken a 4-3 lead here. Chris Davis with his 50th home run. There goes Jones, and Markakis fouls it down the left side.
That looked like it was a hit and run right there by the Orioles, trying to make something happen. 2-1 count. It's the swing from Markakis tells me that that was a hit and run.
Ball is bounced in the dirt, and Aaron Sebia backhands it. Jones holds his ground. Adam Jones with an infield single. Now full count, nobody out.
Got to figure that he's running right here. Take a chance that Markakis is going to not strike out, make some contact, or a pitch that's off the strike zone. He's not going to swing at it.
3-2. There goes the runner. Right back to the pitcher's mound. Delabar looks at second, goes to first, and he's waving off the training staff. That ball came right back to him, and he throws out Markakis.
Save during the plumbing, heating, and electrical expert sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
You start the runner, you stay out of the double play, so you have two shots of driving the guy in from second base. Ball right back through the middle. Looked like it got the chest of Steve Delabar. That's two comebackers right at him, the last two batters.
One out, Jones at second. J.J. Hardy had an RBI double back in the 7th. Knocked in the first of 3 Oriole runs. That tied it up in that inning. 3 runs on 3 hits in the 7th. 1 run charged to Todd Redmond, the other 2 to Dustin McGowan. Milestone home run for Chris Davis, his 50th of the season. Phenomenal year for Chris Davis, and certainly he's going to push Miguel Cabrera in that AL MVP voting. J.J. Hardy takes a strike.
Especially if they get in the playoffs. The guy who hits 50. J.J. Hardy, you mentioned he had a double last time up. 25 doubles, 25 home runs. That's a lot of production.
From your shortstop, who's a Gold Glover.
3rd player on the Orioles to have 25 doubles and 25 home runs.
Waves at that outside pitch.
Adam Jones and Chris Davis, the other 2 players with 25 and 25.
J.J. Hardy is signed through next season, so they don't have to worry about him leaving. 2-2. Off the end of the bat, back over the screen and out of play. Well, one thing the Orioles have is stability. Manny Machado, the 3rd baseman, making his 147th start today. J.J. Hardy is 144th. Adam Jones, 143rd start in center. Nick Markakis, 139 in right. Everyday players. They play every inning.
How about that catcher? Also 122 starts for Matt Wieters.
Chris Davis at first, 142 starts. 2-2. Popped up right behind home plate. Aaron Sebia off with the mask in front of the screen, makes the catch. Hardy's retired. 2 down. So Jones still at second base. Brian Flaherty had a big walk in the 7th against Dustin McGowan. He came around to score on the Clevenger 2-run double. Two outs. The Orioles trying to stay in the hunt for the postseason berth. They got into the postseason a year ago. Two and 0. They won 93 games last season, most wins since 1997. That ended a streak of 14 straight years under 500. This year, 77 wins and well back in the East, but still a chance at the wild card.
That year last year, you were just talking about, snapped the skid of 14 consecutive losing seasons. Prior to that, they had 13 losing seasons in 44 years. I mean, the Oriole way, right?
There's ball 4. It's an intentional walk to finish off the at-bat. Flaherty walks for a second time tonight. 1-run games. Last year, that was their benchmark. 1-run games, 29-9. This year's a different story. And their closer, Jim Johnson's had a rough season. He's got 9 blown saves, so this team has not been as effective closing out games in close contests. The Orioles have 13 of their last 19 games have been decided by 2 runs or less.
And they were outstanding last year. 2 runs or less, 54-23.
Danny Valencia, the batter.
Last season, the 29-9 run record in 1-run games, 25-14 in 2-run games. Built on a great bullpen last year.
Valencia 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. They have kept the ball away from him, and he hasn't been able to do much with it.
Hasn't been able to lay off of it yet.
There's a drive into center. That'll get down. Jones is around third. He's going to score. Rasmus throws the ball back into second. And Danny Valencia picks up a big insurance run with a 2-out single to center. For Valencia, that's his 19th RBI as Jones comes in to score the second run of the inning.
He has been hot. They threw him a couple breaking balls down and away and tried to waste one up. In a way, you see J.P. and Sebia up, but that's where Valencia can still reach it. And a mistake, an 0-2 base hit, and a big hit by the Orioles.
Number 9 hitter Steve Clevenger had a 2-run double to right his last time up. Drives this ball to center. Rasmus is back. He's got room. He makes the catch. The inning is over. But the Orioles take the lead. They score 2 runs here in the 8th. It's time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. to you by Bacardi Oakart Smooth Spiced Rum. Bacardi is a proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Boy, we love watching Manny Machado, just like we like watching Brett Laurie. He's going to take away a hit from J.P. Arancibia. Long throw across the diamond, and then you try and bloop one by him. Jose Reyes is robbed also. 2 stars by those plays are smooth moves tonight.
Machado has done a good job at third, and the Orioles got off to a good start defensively with Jones throwing out Reyes in the first inning. He threw him out at third as Reyes tried to stretch a double into a triple.
Where there are some good fielding third basemen in the American League. Brett Laurie, Manny Machado, Adrian Beltre at Texas. They are fun to watch.
Guy down in Tampa Bay is pretty good as well.
Oh, yeah.
Evan Longoria.
I was getting around to him. Just wanted to build it up a little bit.
Anthony Gose has gone 0 for 2. He's at the count even. It's 1-1. Good tight slider. Steve Clevenger's done a nice job behind the plate tonight. This is his first start in the big leagues. He caught 11 games at AAA Norfolk. He's a former infielder. He has played first, third, and second, and they made the conversion while he was in the minor leagues with the Cubs. He worked with Jody Davis and Brian Harper, 2 former catchers, pretty good instructors, and he looks pretty good behind the plate.
Very quiet behind the plate.
Anthony Gose off the glove of Machado. Machado gave ground. It was hit hard. He tried to play it off to the side. And it'll be a hit for Anthony Gose, a leadoff single here in the 8th.
Keep the pressure on. Playing deep at third base is Machado. Fastball by Hunter with 2 strikes, and he just can't come up with it. Would have been a close play, I think, the way Gose can run.
Well, they had the defense aligned perfectly, didn't they? He hit it right to Machado's glove side, but too hot to handle. Reyes started the game off his first at bat with a double. As we mentioned, he was thrown out at third. Anthony Gose at first. Reyes fouls it back. Jose is really swinging the bat well.
What's impressive about Reyes is his ability to get on top of a fastball. Pitchers have thrown it up there, and Jose has kept his hands above the ball, and he's been able to create backspin on high fastballs. That's tough to do.
Tommy Hunter checks in on Anthony Gose. Ryan Goins is on deck. He came into the ball game in the 7th inning as a defensive replacement for Munenori Kawasaki. Kawasaki went 0 for 3. Orioles have a 5-3 lead. Hunter, when he struck out Sierra and Arancibia, got his fastball up to 99. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the 7th.
Haven't seen that yet this inning. That was a long top of the inning. Hunter was sitting around a long time.
Breaking ball, and Reyes strikes out. Hard slider down and in. Hunter's 3rd strikeout.
That's a good breaking ball. Thought we might see that one to Gose, but he challenged it with a fastball. Gose beat him, so he said that's not going to happen again. Do a breaking ball to Reyes. Got a hot hitter.
1 down. Billy Castro is out to talk to Tommy Hunter and Steve Clevenger, the catcher. J.J. Hardy has joined him. Castro is the acting pitching coach. You see Brian Mattis loosening up, another left-hander. Rick Adair is the pitching coach, who's away from the team for personal matters, and Billy Castro, longtime bullpen coach of the Brewers, serving as the pitching coach. So 1 out. Ryan Goins, his first at bat of the night. We are in the bottom of the 8th. Goins heard about the fastball of Hunter, but didn't get a good pitch.
Yeah, make sure he gets it down. Surprised a little bit that Anthony Gose is still over at first base. I know you're down by a couple of runs. I got to take a chance.
Just get him in scoring position.
Get him in scoring position. With his speed, it'll be tough to throw him out.
Gose is 3 for 4 in stolen base attempts, and there's a quick throw to first. Tommy Hunter is tough to run on. He's quick to the plate, plus he's got that big fastball that gets to the catcher in a hurry. 96. Catchers have caught 4 of 7 base stealers with Tommy Hunter on the mound. Got Matt Reeders back there most of the time, and this is the first start for Steve Clevenger. So you're right, might be worth the gamble.
I haven't seen him throw yet.
2-2, tight inside. The Orioles were down by 3 as they hit in the 7th. They scored 3 runs in the 7th to tie it, added 2 more in the 5th to take the lead. Once again, the Blue Jays had a lead, they just couldn't protect it. Hunter's got that fastball up to 97, 98.
Yeah, it's getting loose again. I told you he sat around a long time at the top of the 8th inning and came back out. Last year, Pedro Strop was outstanding in the 8th inning for the Baltimore Orioles. He and Jim Johnson together were pretty much game over.
Goins pops it into right field. Markakis coming in from right calls for it and makes the catch. 2 down. So here we got an interesting battle. Edwin Encarnacion back into the lineup tonight. He has hit 19 home runs against the Orioles since 2010. It's the most by any hitter against Baltimore. And against Tommy Hunter, Encarnacion is 8 for 20 with 2 homers.
Well, if you're tuning in to see power against power in the ball game, this might be it right here. Power hitter, power pitcher.
Ripped. Machado at third base goes across the diamond, and the inning is over. Encarnacion hit it hard, but right to the third baseman. We'll go to the 9th. The Orioles have a 5-3 lead. veteran left-hander Darren Oliver is into the game. This is his 47th appearance. He's trying to keep it a 2-run deficit as he works the 9th inning.
Some lefties again. So John Gibbons will go with the matchup and go with the percentages. Darren Oliver, 47 games now, got that ERA under 4. Just 15 walks all season long for the veteran, his last season in the big leagues.
Top of the order for the Orioles, Nate McLouth. Singled in his first at-bat. Lined out, struck out, and walked. 1 for 3. McLouth started out with the Pirates. He was a 25th round pick of Pittsburgh in 2000. Then he was traded from Pittsburgh to Atlanta in 2009 for a couple of guys that are having a big impact this year. Jeff Locke and Charlie Morton. Bouncing ball up the middle. McLouth with his second hit of the night.
He was an all-star also. Had a big season. I think he had 26 home runs one year with the Pirates.
He was an all-star in 2008, won a Gold Glove that year. He had 46 doubles. He was a good player. Certainly done a good job for the Orioles. He has scored 74 runs for them this year. Manny Machado 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Got to keep your eye on McLouth. He has 30 steals. One of the few guys in the Orioles lineup that will run. Strike right at the knees on Manny Machado. Oliver is ahead. Blue Jays had a 3-0 lead. Couldn't hold that lead. Orioles tied it up in the 7th and took the lead in the 8th. Broken bat, little dribbler to short. Reyes is going to have to go to first just in time to get Machado. 1 out. That'll bring Chris Davis to the plate. He hit his 50th home run last time up.
And 7 of those this season against the Blue Jays. And just, it's where the pitches are. He loves the ball away where he can extend those big arms, those Paul Bunyan-esque type of arms where he can just drive through the baseball. Every one of those in the same spot, and he hit them hard.
He's a big guy that loves to extend his arms out over the plate, and the Blue Jays are putting it on a tee for him away. Davis is the 7th different AL lefty with a 50 home run season. David Ortiz, Jim Thome, Ken Griffey Jr., Brady Anderson, Roger Maris, and a fella named Babe Ruth. Pretty exclusive club that Davis has joined.
Hey, anytime you can put your name in the same sentence with Babe Ruth, I think so.
He's 27 years old. A lot of upside. And they got him for Koji Uehara. Plus, the Orioles got Tommy Hunter.
And Koji Uehara didn't do anything in Texas. Now, he's doing great for the Boston Red Sox now. But he didn't do anything in Texas. Nothing of note.
Davis and Oliver were teammates with the Texas Rangers, and Oliver knows him very well. Davis is 3 for 10 against Oliver with a home run. He had a breaking ball against him in Camden Yards to the seats in center. There's a breaking ball for a strike. 2-2. Chris Davis never really got established in Texas. He had stretches where he hit the ball in then stretches where he couldn't make contact.
You could
struck
pitch
out a
to
lot.
it. You could pitch to it. Look at Ryan Goins, the second baseman. It's like he's playing in right field.
Another ball away, and Davis hits it right to Laurie. 2 down. All-State Fan Appreciation Contest is presented by Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Win a trip for 4 to Toronto to see the Blue Jays take on the Tampa Bay Rays September 28th and 29th. The prize includes airfare, hotel, and the chance to throw out the first pitch at a Blue Jays game. Contest closes September 16th, so make sure you enter now at bluejays.com/allstatefan. Adam Jones batting with 2 outs and a base open. Left-handed batter on deck is Nick Markakis. Now they choose to pitch to Jones here.
I think Darren Oliver is going to be very careful.
Jones will get the infield hit. Reyes made a good decision not to make the throw. McLeod had made a turn around third. Had that throw gone to first, McLeod had a chance to score. Jones has another infield hit. He's got 3 hits tonight.
You know, or if the throw was offline just a little bit. So Jose Reyes showing some experience right there. Up the middle, he flags it down going to his left. He's thinking about it and then says, you know what, I better hold on to it. Adam Jones just runs too well. And you're not going to get him at first base. Why try to make something happen when there's nothing there?
Yeah, you got to know where you are on the field, and Reyes was well behind second. Nick Markakis goes after the first pitch. Markakis singled in his first at bat. He has since been hit by a pitch and grounded out twice. Top of the 9th inning. Orioles have a 5-3 lead. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 10-6. Oliver has had his problems with lefty hitters all season long. They have hit .343 against him. Right on the inside corner. They might try to steal a run here with 2 outs and Markakis behind 0-2. They got 2 good base runners aboard.
Wayne Kirby, the first base coach, told Adam Jones to pick up his third base coach.
Nothing doing. Oliver missed down and away. McLeod can get a huge lead at third with Laurie well off the bag. 1-2. Breaking ball outside. Oliver, the 4th relief pitcher to work tonight. Breaking ball, Markakis strikes out. Aaron Seavey puts the tag on him. The inning is over. So Oliver and Strands a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Adam Lind has homered tonight. His 20th came back in the 4th inning. Then Brett Laurie, Colby Rasmus, he too has homered and collected 2 hits. 4 channels, East Ontario, West and Pacific. And make sure on Pacific you check it out. San Francisco is at Dodger Stadium. The Giants' Madison Bumgarner goes to the mound against the Dodgers' left-handed ace, Clayton Kershaw. More baseball on Pacific and Sportsnet 360. It'll be Blue Jays Express coming up right after the ball game. Now the Blue Jays will face Jim Johnson, the closer. You can see Johnson has 9 blown saves, but he's got 43 saves.
Yeah, the good news is 43, but he's also had the bad news. 52 opportunities for Jim Johnson. Last year it was automatic, lights out. Everything was working for him. This year his location's off just a little bit. Walking more batters. He's up to 18 now.
Adam Lynn, 2-run home run in the 4th. Line drive to center. Jones will play it on a hop. Lynn has a leadoff single. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman. Brett Laurie steps in with a man at first and nobody out.
Last season, everything was down from Jim Johnson. The sinker was really at the bottom of the strike zone. You can see that one pitch to Adam Lynn up. Blue Jays are going to have to force him to get that ball up.
Popped up down the right side into the first row of seats, out of play. Johnson took the loss last night against the Yankees, and it's been quite a turnaround from last year to this year.
Yeah, almost automatic. Like I said, 3 blown saves last year. The whip was better, the opponent's batting average, and it was just location. His stuff is still the same. It's just been leaking up in the strike zone a little bit too much. 3-8 this year and an ERA of 3 and 9 blown saves. One of those blown saves right here at Rogers Center, that was when Munenori Kawasaki hit the triple into the gap in left center field.
Lined right back to Johnson, and he's going to double up Adam Lynn. Jim Johnson, a stroke of good fortune. He threw his glove up, the ball went right in the pocket, and then he turned around and threw to first.
Well, you can't do anything about that if you're Brett Laurie. Just hit it hard. He just happens to be a big guy, about 6'6", standing out there right to his glove side. Throw the glove up there and finish it off over at first base.
Two down. Colby Rasmus in his return to the lineup is 2 for 3. He homered in the 5th, his 19th of the season.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that. You got a tough pitcher out there and you hit the ball hard. Can't guide it.
0-2. Johnson's ahead. Blue Jays down to their final strike. Strike 3 called. The Orioles win it. Jim Johnson picks up his 44th save of the season, his 13th career save against the Blue Jays. And once again, Chris Davis with a big home run. He had a home run in the 8th, his 50th. Orioles win it 5-3. Stay tuned. Ken Reed, Ivanka Osmak, Connected, coming right up.